Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for HBAR. Now I have a couple different counts I'm tracking on this one, but it's not the greatest news. I'll show you those right now. This is my primary count that we have an A wave to the upside. We're working on our B wave as a flat pattern, and then we get our C wave in the future up to those higher targets we discussed in previous videos, up above 16 cents. And our minimum requirement for this one is around 6.5 cents for our B wave. That's the 0.618 extension of our A wave here off our B wave. So that is my primary count, looking for a buy around those zones. My alternative bullish scenario is we have this WXY forming out, where we're working on an A wave of another complex correction. In this case, we have to defend this low at 5.78 cents, which is the bottom of the E leg. Now, I have issues with this for a couple different reasons. I'll point those out to you. The length of this E wave, for one, and the second reason is we would want more of a thrust at the end of an E wave, so I don't put a lot of validity to this count. And our third option here is a triangle, which would get quite drawn out. And our last count is an ending diagonal, where we have our A wave, B wave, working on a C wave to the upside before we get a further correction. So I put most validity into this one and this one, our flat and our ending diagonal. But what's nice between these two is we expect a correction both to similar areas between 6 cents and 7.5 cents, which is good to know. With our triangle, same general area. The only one that wouldn't work out is this WXY. So keep tracking all these at the moment. Now we'll go to that flat scenario and our bullish WXY scenario. Now down at the 4 hour, or sorry, the 1 hour. This is the most bullish one I was working with, which is, this is our W wave or A wave in a very complex correction. We've either finished or need to keep going here on a larger correction for our B wave or our X wave, and then we get that Y wave to the upper targets. Just to go back to what I mean, this wave here. We'd basically be looking for a 3-wave pattern after this E wave to the upside. Go back to here. I'm just having a lot of trouble counting these waves here. It's so choppy, right? It doesn't have the shape of a leading diagonal. So it's just a lot of chop. You can count this as a leading diagonal if you want. I count it as a flat ABC to the upside, 335, and then a zigzag here as a second wave as an ABC. The good news to that upside is we then got a flat and a zigzag, WXY. So there is an option we do go up, make that move to the upside. But what I don't like about this is we're already coming out of my pitchfork, which I use as a guideline to when a wave's potentially done. And we didn't have a lot of follow through today. So my bias here is this is probably a W wave altogether. We're probably getting a 3-wave up, and we're going to make further downside to create that larger flat, which could get drawn out in multiple complex corrections here. So my bias is for that larger flat wave. But if you are tracking this as bullish, kind of the furthest you'd want to go here from this top to bottom, again, I'm not trading this whatsoever, is probably between the 50 and the 618. could be considered a flat all the way down to 6.5 cents. But this is just ugly, ugly, ugly. And this is a 3-wave here as well. So we could get, if you move this AB over here and this becomes zigzag, we could actually get a triple zigzag here. Just because this is a 3-wave too as an ABC. So you can see it's very, very ugly to work with, in which case the top, if this is 3 zigzags in a row as a triple zigzag, very complex correction, or a WXYXZ, then we would be coming down here pretty hard. We'd have our 1, 2, 3, 4 working on our 5th, which would most likely be either an ABC or the wave 1 of an A wave to the downside, as you can see. But I do not like this chart whatsoever at the moment. Disappointing, because we did have those trade setups a few months ago where it was potentially very bullish. But as you can see, we're falling apart here. And if this current candle, daily candle, closes below these pivots, then probably shift even more that we need that move to the downside as our flat pattern here. So I wish I had better news here on HBAR, but unless we get some trend breaks to the upside, it's looking very, very weak. And this is just in the short term. Again, I showed you earlier, there are many bullish patterns, just not right now. And I need a little more waves to be able to get, confident in any sort of count. The only way you can get confident in this count is you say, yes, we have 3 ABCs potentially up here. Well, then that would just be a leading diagonal. And again, a very ugly leading diagonal, in which case you would, if the top was here, you'd be expecting a larger correction anyway, right? Because we're correcting this entire move. Anyways, sorry guys, I wish I had better news on HBAR, but unless we start breaking some major pivots here to the upside, I'm quite biased that we need a longer term correction here, down below, between 7.5 and 4.5 cents, which is very ugly. All right guys, that's it for HBAR. We do have setups in other charts if you want to take a look at those. I updated several today. Make sure to subscribe if you want your updates right away. And thanks for watching.